Alright guys, so today, as I said, we're going to study these verb combinations. What I mean is verb plus verb. Can you give me some Russian examples of this? Russian examples.
Пытаться прыгать.
Okay, let's take something shorter, okay? Купить, alright? Yes? Can you, well, like present simple, first person, like I. Can you make it he? He. We. We in the past. Alright. Now what do we see, guys? What do we see? That the first verb, of course, changes in accordance with the person, in accordance with the tense, and so on. But the second verb never changes. It's in what form?
Infinitive.
Infinitive, right. So infinitive in the Russian language has what form? What form does it have in Russian? How do you know in the Russian language that your verb is infinitive?
Eat.
Eat, right. Eat, ать, ut, yet, and so on, right? So these are this is the index of infinitive, eat, ать, ut, yet, right? Which means it's like a zero form of a verb. It doesn't show what? It doesn't show person. It doesn't show time, tense, right? Nothing, only the action. So, and eat, ать, ut, yet. All right, people, in the English language, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. The first verb can change in any way, but the second verb has to be infinitive. But there's one surprise in the English language, and the surprise is that in the English language, we have not only one type of infinitive, like in Russian, is ать, ut, yet. And in the English language, we have three types of infinitives. Well, let's take a simple verb go, yeah? To go. Or we can use another type of infinitive, which is going. Or so-called bare infinitive, goly infinitive, which means what?
Go.
Go, just go. All right? So we have three possible options of the second verb, three possible forms of the second verb. All of them are infinitives, basically. All of them are infinitives, but they have different forms. It's to go, going, or go. Now, of course, and the logical question from you should be what? What should be the logical question from you?
When do we use this form?
Exactly. Now, how do we know which form of the second verb we should apply? Which form of the second verb we should choose? Well, guys, the form of the second verb depends on the first verb, all right? And it also depends on some other factors, okay? Now, let's first talk about the factors, the small factors, and then talk about, no, you know what? Let's first talk about the general rule, okay? Let's first talk about the general rule. People, and the general rule is that there is no rule, unfortunately. I'll just give you a bunch of, like a table. I'll just give you a table of first verbs. It will be a table of first verbs. And it will tell you now which first verb takes which form of the second verb. All right? Okay. And can you please press pause? Don't stop it, but press pause. All right. Now we know that there's this table. Which explains when we use ing, when we use infinitive. So you got the table. Now about peculiarities. Now guys, peculiarity number one. If you have modal verbs, what's modal verbs? Can, must, should, or may, and so on. After them, you use what? Bare infinitive, go. I can go. I should go. Very often I hear my Russian students making a mistake, saying, I can to go. I must to go. Please don't do that, alright? It sounds horrible. So, can go, must go, should go. And make. Now, what is make? make, force, push. Well, in this case, make is like. Okay, I'll give you an example. My mother makes me eat vegetables. Right. So make, and you use bare infinitive, or let. For example, my father lets me smoke in the house. Yeah. Yes. So these categories of verbs, modal verbs, the verb make and the verb let, after them we use what infinitive? Bare infinitive. Exactly. So this is one more thing you have to remember. Now, if you have prepositions between your verbs, for example, verb, preposition, and verb. Guys, what is a preposition? Like of, about, at, yeah, and so on. There are many prepositions. Now, if you have a preposition between the verbs, your second verb will always be in the form of ing. Okay? Well, for example, I am thinking about buying a new car. Okay? They are talking about buying a new car. Right? I want to get used to waking up early. Waking up early. Okay, so to is a preposition. Okay, so if you have preposition between the two verbs, your second verb will be in the form of ing. Okay, all right. And one more very important formula that you have to remember is this: if you have a verb and then a noun, what is a noun? All right. Or adjective, what is adjective? All right. If you have this construction, verb plus noun, or maybe plus adjective, and then verb again, your second verb will always be infinitive. Verb to. Okay. For example, usually this verb is to be. It is dangerous to go there. Okay. It is important to know. Okay. Or now, let's take a noun. Yeah. It is your problem to deal with. Okay. Or it is your child to look after. All right. So if you have this combination, your second verb always to. All right. So modal verbs make let, bare infinitive. Verb preposition, then second verb will be ing. And if you have this formula, if you see this formula, you use infinitive after noun or adjective. Is this clear?
Clear.
Quite clear. Now guys, luckily for us, can we switch it off?